Thank you for tuning in to Androna Talks Radio, gathering as one in our sovereign truth from a galactic perspective, exploring our world with new ideas, knowledge, and a promise of a better future. Galactic discussions for galactic-minded people. Androna Talks.
I'm seeing an owl with orange eyes. And it's staring at me. I'm trying to get to my happy place, but there's a brown owl with orange eyes.
Is it a real owl?
I think so.
Or is it a shapeshifter or something else?
I don't know. I feel pricks on my face and on my hands right now.
Can we reveal who this owl is and what it's doing here?
I have to reveal what this owl is and what it's doing here. There's that thing that looks like vendetta.
Does this have something to do with that animal that was around my house the past 2 nights?
I don't know. I see the top of the mountain above the clouds. It's at night. There's a dead tree.
Is the owl still there?
The owl is to my right, and it's standing, it's like sideways. It's got a weird greenish yellow globe around its chest. It's looking at me. It's on a branch. I think I'm on the tree with him. It wants me to go out closer to the edge of the branch, but I know I'll fall off if I do.
So is there something wrong with the bird asking you to do that?
Bird isn't a bird, it's something else.
Yeah. Let's have the truth revealed regarding who the bird is.
Bird is Esmeralda. Bird
What's
is the
she
essence
doing in your
of
space?
Esmeralda. She's watching. Always watching.
And what exactly is she watching?
Little children. She dances around them.
You don't
She's
have
trying
any children around.
That's what she does. I don't know what she's doing around me. It's like she wants me to fall off the branch. It's a very steep mountain.
It's not going to happen.
She's dressed like a gypsy now with a red headscarf on her head. And a white shirt and a red skirt and red shoes. She's dancing. She's in a street somewhere with cobblestones. She's got a tambourine in one hand and she's dancing around. Now she looks like she's dressed like a Muslim now. She's got a mask on. Like a burqa. It's a weird burqa.
Why?
It's all black in the front. Where the mask is up by the nose, there's like a round chain link. It goes all the way up to the forehead. Can't figure out what this is, and there's something gold on her forehead. If this is an illusion, I asked for it to be dropped, the veil to be dropped. I have to see the truth of this, of what this is. Just saw a wolf.
I want to see the truth of what this is.
Indra. Just heard Indra.
What about Indra?
The name Indra. She's a princess. She's stuck somewhere.
Indra is a Hindu god.
Said she was a princess and she was stuck somewhere.
She has to tell the truth. That's not the truth.
Tell me the truth of what this is. She's trying to throw something at me. Like powder.
You don't consent to it, and you ask for protection.
I ask for protection from this. I don't consent, and I don't agree for anything to be thrown at me or touching me.
It's interesting because my friend has a Halloween arrangement on the outside of her house by her door with 3 witches, and then she has a wolf there.
There's the 3 witches.
Yep.
They have her.
And they were in black.
I just saw three women sitting with their hair. Ow! Oh, something's hitting my head. I don't consent. I don't agree. Whatever this is, get away from me right now. Somebody's nail just hit my forehead. I don't consent. Get away from me.
Is this connected to the Shaw house at all?
I think it is because I think I just saw those girls from Gilmore House.
Mm-hmm.
But I see 3 witches sitting down with their arms on their legs like this and their heads down in the pointy hat.
Yep.
I see who that is. I think that's Hetty Shaw. Oh, something just went into my chest. I don't consent. I don't agree.
Nope, I don't accept it.
I don't accept anything. I'm completely protected. It's a golden beetle. I don't want that.
I think she's losing power.
There's a bowl of oatmeal. They want me to eat it. I don't know. I'm not eating that. Get it away from me.
What, like your Goldilocks?
I don't know. Did Goldilocks eat oatmeal?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh. Ew, no, there's blood in it. It's like a crust of oatmeal and inside is blood.
Oh, that's disgusting. That just ruined it for oatmeal for me now.
No.
What does the yellow beetle stand for?
What does the yellow beetle stand for? She's trying to give it to me as a gift. It'll make me cleaner. Why do I need to be cleaner? I'm very clean. It'll clear me. Why would it clear me?
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. What is this beetle? She just turned into that old witch from the Wizard of Oz. Is it the Wizard of Oz?
Mm-hmm.
That green witch or whatever the hell she is.
Yep. Is that what you really look like, Hetty?
She just went and walked away and put her hand up like this. She has really long nails.
Really?
She's not very pretty. Oh. Feels heavy in here.
Yep, she's probably angry that you said that.
Oh. I'm protected. I'm observing. Nothing can hurt me.
That's right. And the Shaw house is collapsing.
It's a snake. She wants me to follow it. I'm not following the snake. Snake's on the porch, black and green, and it's going off the porch. I don't want to go there. I'm not. I'm just observing. She just handed me a tire iron. What do you want? I don't want. I'm not taking this. She just threw it down.
What was that for? What was the tire iron for?
It wasn't a tire iron. It was something. I was seeing something white. Thought it was a tire iron. What's the tire iron? It's two white snakes. Stop it with the snakes. Shedding. What is it about the shedding? The snakes are shedding. There's the golden beetle again.
What does the golden beetle do?
She's turning it. Now it's yellow. It's not as golden. It's yellow. It's like, I don't consent and I don't agree to anything being put on me in my nose or anything. I'm smelling weird stuff.
She's trying to give you the perfume or something from...
I don't know. Just felt something tickling my nose. Now I'm in a forest. How did I get here? How did I get from... I'm in a forest. It's like an open field where there's part of it that's burnt in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
There's tall grass around and trees. Whatever is coming towards my head, I ask that it be removed. Being a yellow being that has wings. What am I seeing? This is an illusion, whatever it is. I asked for this to be unveiled. I want to know where I am and what this is. What am I supposed to see here?
So I want to be out of Shaw House.
I want to be out of Shaw House.
And everyone that is innocent, I ask that they're all freed.
And everyone that is innocent, I ask that they all be freed.
We don't consent to any of the Shaw agendas.
We don't consent to any of the Shaw agendas. Ow, oh my God, she just hit me with a hammer. She hit my hand with a wooden hammer.
Yep.
She's the one. She was looking. She has insect wings on her back, and she's got something weird moving around the bottom of her body, like tentacles or something.
Hmm.
I don't know if she tries to make herself look like a fairy. Sometimes it's like maybe she is a shapeshifter. I don't know, but it's like I'm seeing all different things that she shapeshifts into coming out of her body. She has a really, really big toe.
I'm seeing someone wearing like a shirt that's white and red striped, horizontal stripes.
Looks like Waldo.
Oh, I didn't think of that. It was a woman.
With red hair.
Couldn't tell.
Sharon Osbourne.
Really? And what's she doing there? She trapped in the Shaw House? Well, I think she's related to them, isn't she?
She's smoking a cigarette. She has red short hair.
Hmm.
She's smoking one of those really long cigarettes.
Well, it's interesting. You said the Wizard of Oz, and I thought of Ozzy.
Maybe he's there too. I don't know. I just see her. Okay, whatever's in the middle of my back, it needs to be taken out. There's a hook in my back. I don't consent and I don't agree to this. Unhook this thing right now from my back. Unlatch it. Just dropped. Feels like that's how they keep people in the Shaw house. They all have beetles and they all have a hook in their back. And they can never leave.
Okay, so we're going to remove all the hooks and all the beetles right now.
Oh my God, so many of them. So many of them. They're flying away, and all these people that are walking around, they're unhooked.
Some kind of
Just saw
zombie just
Michael.
came at me, try to kill me.
I just saw he had like a strap on his back.
Huh.
They're like zombies. They're unhooked, but they don't. They're like zombies when they're hooked in.
Wow.
Now I'm in the garden, the big park where I grew up in Switzerland.
So you just got free from everyone's free?
I think everyone's free, yeah, but I think that was part of the Shaw house where I used to live. She's pissed. Oh, she's pissed. She's screaming, and her eyes are turning. They're like turning to water. She's not going to survive this.
She was using everyone as a battery?
I think so.
What is she?
I'm trying to see. It's like she's melting away.
Like the Wicked Witch of the West.
The Wicked Witch of the West melted.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she's made of wax for some reason.
Maybe she's an entity that was stepping through like a wax museum.
I don't know.
Animated then.
Sending healing to my back and to everybody's backs that was hooked into this.
Yeah.
Definitely there. I saw him. But he had a weird strap on his back, like a metal. It's like it was a metal backing of some sort. It's weird. It feels like it was part of his body.
Hmm.
Wonder if that was really him. Not sure. Not sure it was him. Okay, I just heard a French name. Comtesse de Marignac. I don't know why I just heard that name.
Countess of Marignac?
Yeah.
Is that a location in France? Marignac?
It could be. I think it is. I'm not sure. It's Marignac. And I saw a woman, you know, when they used to wear those wigs and they used to put powder all over their faces?
Mm-hmm.
She had a big blonde wig. It was really tall. Had a pink bow and a feather on the top. She's wearing a pink dress. She had white all over her face and like red dots on her cheeks and like a black mole.
Like Marie Antoinette.
Yeah. But you know what? I think this is a guy in drag. I think this is a guy. I don't think it's a girl. He's speaking French, but I can't understand him. Why do I keep on getting stung? Whatever's stinging me, you don't have the right to touch. Nothing has the right to touch my body. I don't consent to it. There's something with Marignac. I keep on hearing Marignac.
So Jean-Charles Galissard de Marignac. But he's a chemist or a scientist. And then there's a woman next to him that is in a black and white picture. I don't even know how she's connected. It's very strange. Le Ball, Paris, 2002.
Le bal, it's a ball.
Yep.
Well, I saw, and I was in a room where they were kind of dancing around. I don't know where this is. I'm uncomfortable here. a lot of yellow. There's a lot of... It's very bright in here. It's like there's a lot of gold everywhere. And the floor is like a parquet. See the parquet floor. I feel like I'm in some kind of a castle or something. It's like a museum now. Bed's made out of gold. There's a checkered, it's a brown, blue, and green checkered curtain behind the bed. It's like a crest or something. There's a man. He's a heavy man. And he's wearing a dark, but he's like a big stomach. He's wearing a dark blue coat they had in those days with gold buttons. But it's open. It looks like he's either going to bed or he was in bed. Oh no, I see. He's about to do something with this thing that's a man. It's like a young man. I think they're about to have some kind of relations.
A man and another man?
Yeah. But it's
Well, that's weird because when I looked at that picture of the Marignac, then I saw this woman, and then I looked next to that woman. There were these two men dancing together. It looked like something from the 1930s or 40s. Wearing those like suits. And who is this?
I just heard Bobo. Bobo. Isn't that DJ Bobo? Isn't that the Optimist? Ow, my head.
Yep. Tell him he has to get his hand. Whatever connection that you have with him, you have to break that once and for all. It's been around you for a while.
I asked to break this tie, break all ties, vows, oaths, photos, contracts, agreements, entanglements, connections between myself and any soul aspect of myself, and this Bobo the Optimist being, and whatever the scene that I'm looking at is. Oh God, something's trying to choke me.
Stop
oh,
it.
Man.
You know what?
Stop.
That's Heather Shaw. Stop it. Stop, Heather, right now.
She's like, go.
She said you're gonna learn. She said you're gonna learn. No, we're not gonna learn anything from you at this point. You have overstepped your boundaries.
I think she put her on my throat as a whip.
This is what she does to Peter.
I break these ties. I break all ties, vows, oaths, photos, contracts, agreements, entanglements, and connections between myself and any soul aspect of myself. And this DJ Bobo and Heather Shaw and the Optimist, Bobo the Optimist, she's whipping the thing on the ground. In all time, space, reality, past, present, and future, alternate space, and between space, parallels, pocket realities, hidden realities. In all dimensions, I do not consent, I do not agree to any kind of overlay program, agenda, or connection between myself and the Shaw house and anybody in the Shaw house. Heather Shaw, Jesus, get away from me. Just try to put something in my eye. Get away from me. This is a bad being.
Yep.
This is a really bad being. You can't touch me. Get away from me. Unplug, delete, and uninstall, and so be it. I ask that anybody else that's caught here be freed. Oh man, she just turned into a huge spider.
There it is.
She just turned into a massive spider.
Yep.
She's crawling along. She's crawling along this thing. I don't even know where to go. I don't know what to do, Jess.
We're going to ask to have it extracted and brought up before the high courts. Whatever this entity is, we ask to be released from it, as this has been a slave master to many people, and I ask to be freed from it once and for all.
She just got sucked up somewhere. Just saw her being sucked away. She looked more like a tick. after when she got sucked up.
Was that around my house yesterday?
Yes, that's a baby of hers. It's
And what
either
about
her
that
or
creature that I was hearing? Is it a hybrid of some sort?
That was an owl, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a weird, a hybrid
I
owl.
don't know. There's green around it. I want to say it's Esmeralda, but there's something sickly greenish yellow around it. What is this? Unveil this for me. What is this thing? That's this owl thing. Ooh, it just stood up. It just stood up like a human being.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? It has no face, but it stood up. It almost looks like one of those wooden mannequins, you know, that you draw from.
Yep.
What is that? Unveil this. I asked to see the truth of this. She saw really, really long hair. Oh, get away from me. It's got really long hair. It's like an old woman. It's like an old, old woman. She's naked. She's walking away from me. Oh, now it's turning into something else. It's like a big being with really long arms. And it's walking, but it's like dragging its knuckles. And it's Lady Gaga. That's the thing that's inside of Lady Gaga.
Is this connected to those entities in Shaw House or even in the Murkoff, my lab?
It's the Murkoff.
Yeah.
It's the Murkoff, my lab. And they're very tall. That's what I saw. They're very tall, but their arms are so long. They're like dragging on the floor. And I'm seeing Sia. I'm seeing Lady Gaga, and I'm seeing Rachel Osborne. Who's Rachel Osborne? They're Rachel Osborne.
Not even connected to well, they have Sharon Osborne. What is that one of her names? Is Rachel?
I think that might be an alter because I kept on trying to make it. Oh, you mean Sharon Osborne? They said no, Rachel Osborne. I don't know who that is.
It's a picture of Sharon Osborne, and she's tilting her head in such a way it doesn't look natural.
It's weird. I feel like I'm a mummy right now. I feel like I'm wrapped up like a mummy would be. I just looked down at my foot. It's a man's foot, but I'm wrapped in gauze. This is where they get the beetles from. This is it's a green beetle with gold on it and a gold beetle. It's on my chest.
But
it's like a piece of jewelry. It's on my chest. It's got a bunch of gems on the outside of it. But I keep on seeing my left foot. It's a man's foot and it's all white, like there's powder or something on it. And then I just see bandages everywhere.
Why don't you reveal who that is? And
I feel like it's me.
Are you sure?
Because I'm looking down at my own foot. And I can feel it. I can feel that it's my foot. But I don't know why I'm wrapped up like a mummy. Like, unveil this right now. If this is an illusion, this is an illusion. I ask that it be unveiled immediately. Just saw with orange hair, really straw-like. She looks like a scarecrow. What is it with this Wizard of Oz shit?
Yeah, maybe it's part of the program, because it's my lab, the Wizard of Oz. It's a way to pull in children.
She's dressed like the straw man. There's Dorothy that looks like The red shoes. That almost looks like.
Yeah. Oh my God.
What?
He was a girl that played in a school play. She reminded me of. She played Dorothy.
Judy. It's like the Real Housewives of New York or New Jersey. There's a woman in there. Her name is Teresa Judice or whatever. There's the lion. The lion looks like it's. I want to say maybe not somebody with a beard. Who's the Tin Man? Why does the Tin Man look familiar? Who's the Tin Man? I don't know who that is. This is really odd. Who am I? I'm the mummy? What am I?
Who's the Tin Man then?
I don't know. He feels very familiar, but I don't know who he is yet.
Has to
It's like
reveal who he is.
I asked to reveal who the Tin Man is. Christopher. Who's Christopher?
Christophoros? Or is it someone
Maybe.
else?
I think it's someone else. Just heard Christopher Reeves. Why would it be Christopher Reeves?
Maybe he's trapped in my lab. He died unnaturally, fell off a horse. Very weird way.
He didn't die. He was paralyzed from
He
the
was
horse.
paralyzed first and then he died. It didn't look like a normal fall.
That's who the no. So the lion is Robin Williams. Christopher Reeves is the Tin Man.
And who's the witch, Esmeralda?
I'm not sure. I think so. I think the witch is Esmeralda.
What about the good
I
witch?
almost just saw Alice in Wonderland. Who's the good witch? I don't know who the good witch is. I don't know. This is weird. I asked for all this to be revealed to me. What am I supposed to be seeing here?
Yep.
It's on a set. We're on a weird set. We're back in that forest part. We're in the middle. There's like that burnt space, and we're surrounded by these trees.
A burnt space, like the trees are burning.
Yeah.
So is this like trying to play out what's happening in California?
No, there's in the middle. There's trees on the right and on the left, but in the middle there's a spot where it's been burnt down. It's like something was burned there.
Yep.
I just saw a tiki torch. I see taking the tiki torch and burning something. She doesn't know. She doesn't know what she's doing.
Is she starting the fires?
Yeah. She lit part of the thing in the middle, and a streak went up and started burning the trees. She's not there. She's under an influence. She's being controlled. Somebody's playing a game. Somebody's playing a video game. What is this? There's something with, I just heard Ashkenaz. The Jewish Ashkenaz. I don't know. Why do they keep on coming in here? There's something on my leg. Get off my leg. Whatever. Get the snakes fucking off of me now. Off. Somebody put a black snake on my foot. Off.
Who's playing the video game?
Seeing a young boy. He's got light brown hair. And it's kind of cut like in the 70s. But there's green mist around him. It's a weird green, like matrix green around him.
Can we ask who this is?
Who is this?
It's a variation.
Roland. Something Roland. Peter Roland? Roland? Keep on hearing Ashkenaz. Ashkenaz is it's a type of a Jew. It's the European Jews.
What do they have to do with the Shaw house?
Ashkenazi ritual. What's an Ashkenazi ritual? I'm seeing a pig. I'm not into pigs. Why are you showing me a pig? What is this? Painting the pig red. Painting the pig red, white, and blue. Why are they painting the red pig red, white, and blue? Sacrificing it. It's the Cuban flag.
What's going on now?
Seeing a beekeeper. Beekeeper with that outfit on. It's not white, it's like a khaki gray, brown. This guy with a long beard that's wearing it in glasses, like old-fashioned 70s glasses.
Do you know who that guy is?
No, he looks like an old man. I don't really know who he is. He's calling me over. He's got one of those things in his hands. Those smoke things that gets the bees out to get the honey. He's telling me to come over there. I don't know if I should go over there.
Let's just
Ow! Oh, sorry.
What is this guy's name? Are you okay?
Something just stabbed my toe really hard.
Is this related to what? Who is that?
I think I just saw something I wasn't supposed to see.
Like what?
He was putting those he was putting the smoke away on the ground, and it almost looked like a Scrabble thing. Ow, I'm not supposed to be saying this. Okay, whatever this is my space. This is my higher self wanting me to see this. So I'm always protected. I don't allow anything to touch me. This is an illusion. You're not allowed to touch me. I don't give anybody consent to touch me. There's like big Scrabble pieces on the floor. More like mahjong. And he's putting smoke on it to actually clear it. It's the opposite. There's some kind of a field over it. And when he puts the smoke over it, these tiles show up. And they're in levels. They're like ridges of them going all the way down. And they've got symbols on each of them. I thought it looked Asian, but I'm not sure now. But he's wanting to show it to me. And it's deep inside a forest. It's some kind of a wet forest. There's greenery everywhere.
Who's he? Who is he that's showing you this?
It's a grandfather of some sort.
What's his name?
Joe.
Joe who?
Joe Walsh.
Joe Walsh. And who is
That's
Joe
not
Walsh?
your name. If that's not your name, tell me your real name. Joe Walsh. Said I'm your grandfather.
Is that your grandfather's name?
No.
That's not your grandfather then. Who is he? No. He has to reveal who he is, really. There's an American guitarist by that name.
Now he's wearing one of those like archaeologist weird hats. It's got stripes around it. Who are you? What is your name, and what do you want from me? What am I supposed to be seeing? He's gotten a lot older, and he's pointing to these things. He's got like big knuckles. He's going, look, this is what you're looking for. I don't know who you are. I'm your grandfather on your maternal side, on your mom's side. My grandfather on my mother's side is not his name. His name is... You're nuts.
So he's trying to insert himself into your family lineage.
Well, my dad's name is...
It doesn't feel like he's a relative.
Oh.
He's a fraud. So who is he and what does he want? What's his agenda?
A coat of many colors. Now he's got a coat on that's black, but it's got all these rainbow colors on it. Who are you?
So it's trying to be Joseph.
Joseph who? Rainbow colored coat. What is that?
Yeah, the Joseph of the coat of many colors.
What is that?
Bible. It's a story. He was part of the lineage, the bloodline.
So what are you trying to show me? He's got it's like a tuxedo coat. I can see the two golden things in the back buttons, and then there's just a stripe of different rainbow colors.
But you were looking at Ashkenazi Jews. He's Jewish. What is it that he's trying to tell you?
Saying the children are here. What children? The ones that are buried here. What children are you talking about?
And buried where? What location?
He's pointing to those things, those tablets, those, what do you call them? Tiles. He wants me to go there, but I don't want to go there. It looks like it's a slope of ledges there's like stairs with these big tiles that look like mahjong tiles, and they go down and then they come back up, and he keeps on pointing towards them. Oh, it looks like a butterfly. It looks like it's like a butterfly of all these tiles.
Okay, so
it's an entrance to something.
I met some Jewish guys years back, and they were all playing mahjong, and they were trying to teach me it. Is this related to that?
Yes, there's an entrance.
What is
an entrance? There's the tiles form some weird, like, it almost looks like butterfly wings now, and in the center there's a round thing, and he said it's an entrance, and that's where the children are.
Is that how I got pulled into this? Through this group of people?
He's saying yes, and now he's wearing a beret, and he's got a monocle on his eye.
Like because he was in the military. He was
yeah.
Like Mossad or something like that.
Yeah, he's saying this is where you find them.
But whose children are they?
Everyone's. All of them.
But do they need to be brought back? Are they trapped, or are they?
He's saying yes. Now he's got a cane. He keeps on changing outfits. Now he's got a cane. He's got a black beret on. He still has that monocle. He's got a pair of those like 1940s pants on that go to the calf.
So he's a time traveler.
He must be, because he keeps on changing clothes.
Because he did that. He put on black glasses, and then he changed his personality in a way. He left when I met him. Ask him why he did that.
Why did you do that when you met Jessica? I was trying to show her. I was trying to show her stuff. What are you trying to show her? He keeps on pointing to this thing.
What thing?
With the mahjong and this big round thing that's at the top of it. It's like an entrance, and it's shiny now. It's got silver on top. It looks like a filter of some sort.
It wasn't very clear to me what he was trying to show me.
Now he's a heavier man, still with a monocle, but it's like a Scottish garb with one of those Tartar things that they wear in blue and green.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got red shoes on with tassels. This is so weird. What do you want me to see? I don't understand. Show me. Took his monocle off, and he's got something. It doesn't look human. He's got some kind of a mechanism in the half of his face.
Oh,
What?
did I see him running in Dogtown when I walked through the park?
Yes.
Because I saw the lens
Saying
on
yes.
his eye. Yes.
He's getting very excited. He's saying yes, yes.
So he keeps on showing up. Is he a cyborg?
I think he's half or part of his body is cyborg, not all of it.
All
He's
right,
pointing to this hand, and he's saying
but he's a
it's like
traveler.
human.
He's a traveler. All right, so
And now he's
here.
holding on to something. He's got a globe in his arm. It's a silver, or not a silver, a glass globe with a bunch of other little globes inside. And he's holding on to it.
Like a babushka?
What? No, it's a globe. It's a round glass globe, and inside the globe there's a bunch of other little globes that are silver, and it's under his arm.
So he's showing us worlds within worlds.
I guess, I don't know.
Many worlds within one world.
And now he's a different guy with a different kind of a cap on. It's a navy cap with a red pompon on it. These are all military uniforms he has on. Is this related to the military that's been around me?
Navy cap with a red pom-pom?
It's an old fashioned, they had those, it goes around their head like this, and it has white on top with a red pom-pom on it. It's a navy. There's writing around the thing here. It says something. It's a white army or navy suit. The children. I just saw Prince Philip. Ow, my head. Whatever is doing something to my head, get it off.
He's not Prince Philip. What is this?
No, I saw Prince Philip next to him.
Oh, okay. So he's. I think I saw one of those hats. There, it's kind of like those are early ones. Hat, red beret, Navy sailor hat with a pom-pom. Charles de Gaulle. French beret. When I met this guy, he sounded like he had a French accent, but he said he was Jewish.
Ashkenaz. European Jews. I'm seeing a Jewish guy now. With the dreidels and everything, but it's black and white. I just shifted. I went somewhere else. I don't know where I am right now.
He said he lived in one of those encampments in Israel.
A kibbutz.
Yes.
Kibbutz. He said yes, a kibbutz. He's walking. It's strange. He's got one of those hats on, but it doesn't look like it's covered. It's like a disc around his head, and the top of his head is showing. Oh, it's where the yarmulke is. That's very, very, very Hasidic Jew.
Mm-hmm.
Back at this thing, and he's showing it to me. It's like he wants me to see something. What do you want me to see here?
That he's a traveler, probably.
He's showing me there's like a black and white version of him.
Like a black and white picture?
Like almost a movie.
Yeah.
Like a film of him.
Does it look familiar?
Feels like it's in the ghettos, like, when you saw Schindler's List. Feels like it's in like the Polish ghettos or something. I see rubble everywhere.
So he was part of his journey as a traveler. He was maybe in one of the camps, slave camps.
Yeah, he's got little wire glasses on now. He's got really dark hair, dark dreidels, a dark beard. And he's one of those long coats and he's walking. He's got a very specific gait about him. He walks with his hands clenched and he's got like just a very specific way of walking. I don't get it though. Everything looks almost deserted.
Is he saying that he took care of it? Or he changed something?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
So are there Mossad or elite military that are time traveling?
There's something gold again. Like in all of this, there's something gold.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted with the gold thing. You asked me again.
Is he saying that the Mossad or the elite forces are time traveling and changing things?
They're time traveling.
Are they going into our future and changing things? Or past?
Oh no, Jess. All this rubble, and I'm seeing the Golden Gate Bridge. He's showing me rubble. He's showing me destruction in San Francisco.
Is this one of the timelines? That's just one of the. That's the Fallout timeline that I saw.
I'm seeing army people, soldiers, bandaged up everywhere.
What happened?
It got destroyed. And I see the Russians. Oh, this is so sad. This is so sad. There's just rubble everywhere. I'm down by the bay with him, and it's like there's rubble. There's mountains and mountains of brick. The city is destroyed. There's nothing left. And he's just walking through the rubble. I think there's Germans there too. There's Germans. That's why my head was hurting. My head is bandaged. It's like I'm a soldier that got hit or something. That's why I've been having headaches. My head is completely bandaged up. Even around my mouth, you can just see my eyes. I'm sitting up against a wall.
What year is this supposed to be?
See 1987.
Is this in another reality?
It has to be. It doesn't make sense.
I didn't meet him. I didn't meet him until after that, maybe closer to 89 or 9.
Yeah, and now he's got one of those. It's the Ashkenaz. They wear this specific fur around their hats.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he's walking through it. It's like I don't know what he's doing. He's just got this gait about him, and he's walking along, and I can see him walking, but then he looked at a soldier that was all messed up, and I knew that was me.
Am I there at all?
I don't think you're there. I don't know.
Does he visit this timeline and then he finds me? He finds me.
That's what he's doing. He's looking for you.
Why?
That's why he's got this gait about him. I don't know. I think he's something about maybe that you did this or you're being blamed for it. I don't know. So
could I be blamed for that? I never even went to California at that time. Or is he trying to figure out a way to stop it from happening?
But he's looking for you.
Yeah, he finds me. But what does he accomplish? Because I don't understand what he does, other than maybe he awakens me.
You can see his coat. His coat is very ornate now. It's like green with, it almost looks like one of those Chinese emperor coats now. It's got like all these like threads and stuff all around it. Now he almost looks like somebody up from the north. Now we're changing.
Like sort of Eurasian or something, like
Yeah.
from the Caucasoids or
Yeah, like the Mongolians or
yeah,
something.
but they're not quite Mongolians. It's in between. They're sort of
Yeah.
Caucasian looking.
I don't know. I don't know where we're going. Now we're in the snow. He's walking through the snow, but he's still looking. What do you want? What are you looking for? He won't answer me. He just keeps walking.
Yep. He said to me, "Do you know who I am?" He said that to me. "Do you know who I am?"
I heard I don't know.
What did he say when I said
I
that?
I heard wizard. I heard wizard.
I know he's not doing this. He's not causing this, but he's
looking
at it.
He's looking at it.
But he finds me, and then what happens? Then what? What does he want?
You're supposed to fix it. You're supposed to do something so this doesn't happen. Oh, he's got a very familiar feel to him. But it's familiar to you. I don't know how to explain it. There's a familiarity to this guy. I feel like he's connected to you somehow, and he's looking at what's been done. He's walking through the snow, and I feel like there's a druid next to him. There's some kind of a druid dressed in all white. He keeps on showing up, but I don't know what he's doing.
How does Russia look? Does it look like it's been affected, or that area of Mongolia?
It's also, all I see is white, but I see old houses like in ruins. It's like farms, but they all look like burnt out. It's very weird though. I'm seeing this in black and white. I'm not seeing any color. I can't. I don't know. All I see is when his jacket, when he changes colors, but the stuff he's seeing is black and white. Okay, I asked to reveal what this is. Now we're in, I think he said Chernobyl. We're near Chernobyl. And he now looks like a shorter man. Again with the glasses, but they're two glasses. You know, like Theodore Roosevelt used to wear?
Yep.
Just on his nose. He's wearing a three-piece suit. And he has a yarmulke as well on. He's Jewish as well. He's got his hand on his hip. And he's looking at Chernobyl after it exploded. Why are there butterflies here?
Monarch?
Butterflies, maybe. Butterflies flying around everywhere. Guy looks like Gandalf. There's like a druid guy that looks like Gandalf from the Lord of the Rings. It's like in the background. It's so weird. Okay, whatever just was stuck in my hand, pull it out. Something sharp and steel-like was put in my arm. Take it out right now. I don't give you my permission. I'm an observer, and nothing can touch me. This is an illusion. Nothing is able to touch me. Just heard something robotic just pulled out of me. It's a red robot. A weird looking red robot. With a blue visor. Okay, he's walking again. He's going down this mountain slope now. He's got the cane. Now I'm seeing color. We're on the coast somewhere. Somewhere, I think, in Wales. But he's still black and white. Now he's black and white. Toto. Who's Toto?
That's the dog from The Wizard of Oz.
What? I don't understand what's happening.
Why did they just say Toto?
I don't know. I was looking at this guy walking with a cane and I heard Toto.
What's he
Sorry,
doing in Wales?
He's a doctor. He's a doctor and he's walking down to his office. He's got a mustache. He's got one of those hats, not a top hat, but like the ones they wore in the 40s.
Mm-hmm.
He's still
like a fedora.
Yeah. And he's got another one of those monocles, but it's on the other eye.
Mm-hmm.
Walking down this hill, down to a town. I see a white church.
White church.
There's little kids running around playing. You can hear seagulls. I'm not sure this is Wales. I think this is Boston.
Yeah, he found his way to Boston. That's where he finds me.
This is Boston. See a little boy in like a sailor suit running around. Those little sailor suits.
Does he have blonde hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who that is.
Just walking around the church. Now we're on a road, a busy road.
Mm-hmm.
Just walking down the street. There's cane. There's a playground on the left. Or a park. Weird lights. Sitting down on a bench. Crossed his legs and he's just sitting there with his cane, his hands on his cane. He's eating something. He's eating a sandwich.
How old is he there?
Maybe 40 or 50. It's weird. His face kind of looks like a penguin.
Maybe in that form, but not the way I saw him.
I don't know. There's like a sand pit in front and kids are running around in it.
Mm-hmm. Is he trying to show you something there?
There's a little girl. Well, she's got long blonde hair, but it's curly. She's got a blue bow in it. She just came running up and then ran away again.
Does he think that's me?
I don't know. She's not. She's maybe 8 years old.
Right. He said he was looking for me.
You can see her face. She came over. But it's weird. She's wearing she looks like during like Little House on the Prairie
Mm-hmm.
kind of outfit.
Yeah.
It's a blue dress on with like a white pinafore. Okay, somebody's putting a screw in my back. Take this screw out right now. It's a golden screw. Pull it out right now. It's like an Alice in Wonderland thing. She just got really big and then really small. Okay, I don't consent to these illusions. I ask to see the truth of this. Unveil it to me now. There's a little girl with dark brown hair and she's got bangs kind of to here.
Mm-hmm.
She has freckles. She's very sad eyes. There's something in her mouth. She's walking up to him and he just took her hand and he said, "Come with me." And they're going to walk somewhere. Brought her to the middle of town and there's a drain. It's like what I saw in that thing before. It looks like a filter. In gutters, they have like a filter thing over it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like that. And he said, that's what you have to look for. Now he looks different. He looks like one of those Amish guys with the beard, like just around here. And he's got a straw hat on.
Why
And
do I have to look for that gutter?
You have to find it. You have to find what's inside of it. It's where
Well,
the butterflies come from.
With the what?
It's where the butterflies come from.
Oh, so it's monarch. But that's something where I saw Reinhardt coming out of like a manhole of some sort in New York City.
I said, yes. So that's where they come from. So that's where the butterflies come from. It's the target. It's the target. It's where the targets are. And you know where they are. You have to open them and you have to go inside. The labyrinth. What's the labyrinth?
It's the dark labyrinth he's talking about.
Now the butterflies are mechanical, Jess.
Yep. This is he jumping into the future?
Yeah.
Yep.
And all the butterflies are mechanical. They're not
There's
real.
no insects in the future in this dystopian reality. Everything dies, so they create fake ones.
There's like batteries underneath the butterflies.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's the reality that people don't realize they're headed toward. Unless something changes.
Unless you move the mahjong tiles. Do something to the mahjong tiles in the forest and it'll shift it. You have to shift the, I don't know, you have to shift the butterfly or something. The form of the butterfly, and it'll shift everything. The monarch turns into something else. What does it turn into? It turns into a different type of butterfly, like a moth.
Like
Lace around your neck. I don't know why you just put like a lace covering just showed up on your dress.
What dress?
Like a doily. It's your little girl and there's like a doily around your neck now.
It's very old-fashioned.
Your hair is different. You've got like a really bowl cut hair. Almost looks like how my sister had her hair when she was. My mom cut our hair really there. My sister's hair really short, like a bob.
Did I have bangs too?
Yeah, you had bangs.
I did that as an adult.
Seeing my sister, I'm seeing, and you right next to each other. It's weird. I'm seeing my grandfather and my sister. Grandpa King. Karen's there. She's about 5 or 6. I wasn't born yet. I was just born. Ow. God.
Is that Joe guy still around?
No, I think he's gone. I think he's gone. It's weird. I see your face. It's like you're superimposed on my face and then on my sister's face and the other sister's face.
Okay, let's ask to reset that. And who did that?
I don't know.
We need to reveal who did that right now.
Mengele.
Mengele, yep.
We're
going to undo. Huh?
My doctor and his doctor, they're the same people.
And we're going to undo everything that Mengele did to us and bring back all of our soul aspects to our proper place in time and disentangle whatever merging that he did. Undo it.
I asked to undo everything that Lamberle and Mengele did to all of us to undo all of this and all the merging. Seeing a weird hybrid right now. Like the face that's all mangled up with membranes everywhere. I has to have that
That's a
undone.
Murkoff. Yeah.
I has to undo this. This is unnatural. And have everything reset back to its natural space and timeline. Everybody that had parts of them taken away, given back to them immediately. And all of us be placed back on our natural space and time.
All the experimentation, the twins program, whatever it was.
All the experimentation, all the twin program, all of the freaking shots that I was given when my mom wasn't looking, neutralize them, undo them. To all of us kids, have everything undone that was done. I think there's something in my space right now that's very big. It feels like it's in my apartment.
Just asked to send it back into the proper place and time or wherever it belongs.
To have it sent back to its proper space and time where it belongs. I don't consent and I don't agree to having it in my space.
I think that was Mengele. Is that the reason why they say people say Jenifer, Jessica, they get it mixed up?
I think so. I think it's because our names are so familiar and it's easy, but
no, I think it's
weird. There's a superimposition of something.
Right.
There's DNA, something
they did that with me with a lot of people.
Illusion of some sort.
Yep.
Yeah, I see it in little kids everywhere. It's like I can see like an amoeba, but it's an illusion where it gets put over. It's almost like your aspects. Well, I'm asking for all of your aspects to be given back to you.
Yes.
And all aspects that are of any of us kids that were used to put on anything else to be given back to all of us right now.
Yep.
I hear ripping and I hear like glasses breaking. I just saw, those old-fashioned needles, syringes, were made out of glass. I just saw a bunch of them being emptied.
Into what? Into the glass?
Just like something that was used from your DNA and our DNA. It was like all the syringes got emptied all at once.
Okay, so there's nothing that they can use anymore.
No. I'm hearing children's laughter. Can hear kids laughing. Something got taken off our heads. We had something, all of us had something on our heads. Like a red rubber band or something. Just got taken off.
Is there anything else? Who's the one that's been speaking to you at night?
Robert.
Robert who?
Don't laugh, but I heard Robert the Bruce. But I have a motherboard.
A motherboard? We're going to unplug them from the motherboard so they're no longer connected to one another and they can't harm anyone.
There's something else behind it, though. I just saw like a big computer motherboard. It's got lights flashing. Something else. There's an entity. There's some weird entity. I don't know what this is.
Shut down, delete, and uninstall any and all program. And ask to have the entity pulled out and brought before the High Courts or Rodan.
It's making me dizzy. I shut down, delete, uninstall any and all programs that are talking to me at night or that are interfering or spying on me in any which way, and on anybody else that they're spying on. On behalf of them, I shut down, delete, and uninstall And I asked to bring this entity, whatever it is, up to the high courts for crimes against humanity. Oh God, I feel like it's been plugged into my back for a really long time. Oh, there's something I'm seeing in my lab. Fuck.
Yep.
Oh
Which lab
God.
was it?
This is the one in Geneva and with the nuns. It's Opus Dei.
Mm-hmm.
It's Opus Dei.
And who's behind this?
It's Murkoff again. I think there's a Murkoff something.
Mm-hmm. Murkoff, Monarch.
But this is the Jesuits.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Jesuits. Did something to my central nervous system. I can see them, what they're doing. They plugged stuff into my back. And they did something. And they plugged in things. I've got jacks all up into my back. I'm asking to unplug, delete, and uninstall this. There's a couple of nuns like running after me right now.
Hmm.
I'm a little kid, and there are those copper wires again. Copper wires running all around my body. They did it to other people too. Black shoes. What are these black shoes? Stomping, running after me. Oh, they just pulled me out of water. I just got pulled out of some water, some weird goo. Okay. There's a weird cushion on my back in between this like weird copper board.
Mm-hmm.
And it was connected through this weird liquid so that it wouldn't electrocute me, but it would go in and affect my central nervous system. And there's a lizard. There's a reptile that's in the next thing over that they attached it to as well. They connected me to it.
And who is he?
He's a hybrid of some sort.
Is he white?
Human. Yeah, he's all white. And he's all white, but he's like a weird white, and he's half human, half lizard.
Does it look like he could possibly have ash on him? Like ashy looking?
Yeah, it is the color of ash. So I said it's a weird white.
Is this the entity that's connected to the Sector 438 of Andronicus?
I saw Leopold. I heard the name Leopold, and I think that is him because he just looked at me.
We're gonna present him before Rodan, and ask Rodan Shiva to come in and deal with him.
He's being disconnected and taken.
Disconnect from him right now.
I break all ties, vows, oaths, photos, contracts, agreements, and connections, and entanglements between myself and any soul aspect. He had my Arcturian self. Oh, he did something to the Arcturian part of me.
He was did a lot of things on that sector, and I'm going to ask everyone is freed and liberated from him once and for all, in all time, space, reality, past, present, future.
That was my name. I think that was my name, Leopold.
He took your name?
I break all ties. Yeah, I break all ties, vows, oaths, photos, contracts, agreements, and connections. In any and all aspects of myself, as an Arcturian or whatever I was, on Sector 4, was it 438?
It's either that or Zephyron.
Or Zephyron in all time, space, reality. Past, present, future, alternate space, in between space, parallels, pocket realities, hidden realities in all dimensions, in any context of reality. I do not consent, I do not agree to any kind of connection between myself and this being. Unplug, delete, and uninstall. And so be it. And free everything that this thing was connected to. I think that's how he figured out what to do with the Arcturian kids that could hide. We can become invisible. and they were tapping into us.
Yeah.
I think my name is Leopold. I think I found my Arcturian name.
That was, do you remember when Andronicus leaves the planet Zephyron, he looks and there were all of the Arcturians and they started to show themselves, but they were hiding. They started to reveal themselves.
Yeah,
So,
because
exactly what you said.
Yeah,
You were there. You were there.
Yeah. I think I had like black hair.
Mm-hmm.
I keep on seeing black hair on. I was a boy and I had black hair. Oh, that's.
Is there anything else that you need to see here?
I'm seeing Brazil. I'm seeing that massive statue. Seeing a little girl walking. She's got dark hair, long dark hair with yellow pants on and a white shirt. And she's smoking. She's like 10. Why am I seeing this? Saying you saw Day of the Dead, Dia de la Muerte.
Who was that girl?
I don't know, but she doesn't look alive. She looks ashen as well.
Is that the same creature?
I think it is.
We're going to present that entity back up to Rodian. Another aspect of it.
Maybe this affected too in this way, because it kind of felt like the being was trying to look like a prostitute almost, but she was too young. Oh God, heavy.
Was that the entity that was bringing in like the cuties and all that crap?
I think it is. I think we're in an area like the favela of Brazil, where there's just these young girls, and they're all like the girl that I saw. She was sitting there smoking on again one of those long cigarettes, and she was like doing that stuff with her hips.
Kind of like what's that?
The lambada. There you go. There it is. I see it. If you look, there is a song called the lambada. I can see where it started, and there's these two young kids that are dancing. There's a famous song called the lambada. If you look up on YouTube, look lambada, and there's in the 80s.
I remember.
You remember that? Two really young kids dancing, but in an over-sexualized way, and that's what I'm seeing right now. It's like a part there, and the kids all look dead. They've got the Dia de la Muerte eyes. You know that skeleton? You know what I'm talking about, the Day of the Dead in Mexico? They've got those eyes, but now I'm seeing them. They're like the panda eyes. There's something with that. There's something with the Dia de la Muerte and the panda eyes. It feels like either a program or an entity or something. There's some kind of an agenda. I don't know what, but it all ties together. Little girl, she's a little black girl. She may be like 11 years old. She's really cute. She's dancing with a guy that's lighter skinned. I'm sure it's Brazilian, and she's dancing with him. But she's got no form. She's a little girl like those cuties. And they're like dancing like in a really sexy way with their hips and stuff.
I'm looking at the show. Yeah, you're right. It's like they're way too young to be dancing like that.
I'm seeing that, but I'm seeing on their eyes, it literally looks like panda eyes, but it's the Day of the Dead eyes. It's very weird. There's some kind of an energy about this. It's gross. It's almost like they're propped up in some way to do this. And they look like they're having fun, but they're forced into it. I can smell the beach. I feel like I'm there. Why am I seeing Marcel Marceau with a white face? I think this is all my lab shit of how to over-sexualize us when we're young. And maybe we were the carriers of this vibration.
Yeah, it's 1989.
It was a really popular song. Get away from me. I'm not going to pay. There's a clown in front of my face right now. It's trying to scare me, and it's got silver eyes.
Oh, it's AI.
Yeah.
It's a robot. Shut down, delete, uninstall.
Shut down, delete, uninstall this robot with these silver eyes right now. I don't consent. I don't agree to this. I'd like to have all of these AI things removed from my space. They keep on trying to jab me. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Are they protecting?
Don't have my permission.
There are questions about the...
Yeah, getting spikes like all over me. I don't like if there's some entity behind it. It's not AI, it's an entity. And it's dark. I can see it. I asked to have whatever's around me removed. Unplugged, delete, and uninstalled. Bobo the clown. Ah, it's the optimist again. Bobo. I think it's Bobo inside of her.
No,
But that's a different aspect of it, no?
It's like a black demon.
Just saw Gina Lollobrigida. The same entity in her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got like a candy striper outfit on.
That's that red and white stripe that I saw earlier.
Yeah.
So that goes back to the Shaw house.
Maybe she's stuck in the Shaw house. Maybe is everybody out of the Shaw house?
They might, the house is very big.
This. Yeah, but she doesn't, it's like she doesn't want to leave the Shaw house. She just looked at me with this face like, and I'm not leaving.
Yeah, you are. Definitely are.
She's screaming. She's going, no, I don't want to.
You're not even
a child.
A whole piece of anything. You're a patchwork of nothing.
I do what I want. She's like, I can see her face like a child, like going,
You don't even exist. What are you? You're not even a soul. You're nothing. What is that? It's a patchwork of all different pieces of people. Amounts to nothing. They all those parts have to go back to whoever they belong to. Right now.
Ouch, ouch, ouch. Okay, she's stabbing me.
All right.
Stop it. She's mad at me. Okay, take that out of me, and I want you to give everything back to everybody. Everything that you've given, everything that you have from people. Stuff is flying off of her.
Good. And then it's going to strip down. We're going to see who it is.
Something black with rags on it. It's an old woman again.
Yep.
Some kind of an entity. I don't know what this is. It's an old woman. Just heard Grateful Dead.
I just pulled out a Rubik's Cube out of her head. You know what that is for? I remember Peter seeing that. So it's the same entity. And there's the bunny, the rabbit.
I wonder if Peter's doing this to her.
No, nope.
Or is it Delphi?
Nope. She embraced it and thought it was cool and allowed it to come in.
I think that's where she was connected to me because it felt like when you were taking that stuff out of her head, my head started hurting. Like there was some kind of, I don't know, like she was connected
There's
to me
a clock.
somehow.
There's a clock in there. I'm pulling the clock out. This is the disaster that's creating destruction in our cities. I just pulled that clock out. I'm handing it to Rodan as a judgment against everyone involved in this. And there goes all the Mahjong pieces just flipped over.
Oh my God.
I heard Capulet.
Capulet, like Romeo and Juliet.
Yep.
Shakespeare.
Is that Cape?
Oh. Just saw a top hat come off of her head. And like a magician's cape.
Yep.
Red inside and the black outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh, I
definitely.
saw a rabbit.
Like those
I
high heel
saw a
shoes
rabbit.
that they wear with the black shoes and the bottom is all red.
Yeah. Saw a white dove and then the rabbit with the red eyes.
Yep. That's
A pocket watch. Pocket watch with a compass on top of it. Not a compass, a sundial. That's weird. And then one of those, what are those things called, in geometry that they help you to draw the circles? Like they're made out of lead and you put it on the paper and the other side is lead and then you can make a circle. Do you know what I'm talking about in school?
Mm-hmm.
One of those too that came out. A silver one. And an alarm clock, a Mickey Mouse alarm clock, pink, that I used to have in my bedroom.
So
This
they
is
took
what I
that
had
from
in
you.
my bedroom. Yeah. Maybe all the stuff belongs to people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that thing might belong to, I don't know. Dionysus. Daenerys, the blonde woman from Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Dionysus.
Yep. That totally makes sense. Yep. Yeah, and starts all the fires in the end. Mm-hmm.
And the dragons.
Yep. Not necessarily the dragons, but any means to destroy the city.
The anger of Dionysus. The anger of Daenerys. Wonder if they were using that.
Mm-hmm. Are we
Claire.
shutting down her access into that entity? Have we shut that entity down?
Yeah, I just heard Claire. For some reason, Claire, St. Clair, Clara, something.
Mm-hmm.
She's floating around us. She's got long brown braids on. She's got really big eyes. Looks like the universe is in her eyes. She's saying, I'm St. Clair. And she's riding on the back of one of those chariots. She's on a chariot. It's a golden chariot, but it's riding around us right now.
She called herself St. Clair.
She said Claire, and then she said, I'm St. Clair, Clara.
St. Clair of Assisi?
I don't know. She says she's always around us.
She doesn't have permission to be around us.
You don't have permission to be around us. Go. She's holding my hands up. What are you doing? Get away from me.
Her full name is Chiara Ofreduccio.
She just pulled my hands up to do something.
Tell her to get her hands off of you. You don't consent to any of her agendas.
Don't ever touch me again. I don't consent to any of your agendas. She's got a gold carriage, and she keeps on coming towards me. What is it with all this gold? I don't want any. Go away. It's weird. It just turned into this comic strip I used to watch when I was a kid. I can't remember their names. It was a teddy bear and a girl that had brown hair. Lulu something. It would go to sleep and you'd go to sleep to it when I was a kid in Geneva. What is she doing?
She's founded the Order of Poor Ladies, a monastic religious order for women in the Franciscan tradition. Following her death, the order she founded was renamed in her honor as the Order of St. Clare, commonly referred to today as the Poor Clares. Her feast day is on the 11th of August.
That's not the same nunnery where the daughter of Louis XIV, the Black Nun, was it?
I don't know, but maybe. Oh,
I don't know.
Jesus, so you're saying that was the daughter? Possibly the daughter of Louis XIV? No, the sister's daughter. Oh, how was that? Was it the daughter?
Wait a minute. There's the there's the dwarf that Marie Therese had a child with.
Yes. All right. So that you think is just the child that was in that monastery may be the same as the St. Clare, and I'm feeling it is.
I think it is.
And that would be the connection to Louis XIV.
She's expressionless. She's dancing throughout these halls. She's got sleeves that are like hanging down. Where is she? I just heard a maid of some sort. She's a maid in one of these castles. But she's not very pretty. She's like very plain. And she's doing something. I don't know what she's doing. She's the maid of somebody, maybe. I don't know, Marie Therese or something. She's connected somehow. I can't figure it out.
Well, this is interesting. Her patronage is of goldsmiths, eye disease, laundry, television, bicycle messengers, good weather, needleworkers, remote viewing.
Oh my God.
Extrasensory perception. Santa Clara, California, Santa Clara, Pueblo, New Mexico. Abando, Bulacan, Philippines.
You literally listed how many things have we been dealing with over the past like 3 weeks. You literally listed all of that stuff.
St. Clair intervenes to save a child from a wolf. There's the wolf. Supposedly, there's the children that you were hearing. And then there's this could also be the Wetton group.
And raised by wolves.
But there's the wolf that we talked about earlier and the witches.
Yeah, but also that AI with the wolves, the raised by wolves.
Oh, yeah.
Because
yeah.
I think her name or one of the names in there is Clara or Lara or something. It's very similar to Clara.
There's a child on the ground that she's rescuing that the wolf just bit off kind of the lower part of the arm. It has it in its mouth. That's really twisted.
I just saw Cypher. I just saw Charlize Theron with a crown on. Oh, that is.
Is that what's moving through her? That's crazy.
I don't know. I don't know what's moving through her, but I just saw Charlize Theron with a crown with a bunch of jewels on it and a veil over her face.
Oh, so like the Whore of Babylon.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Whore of Babylon.
She originally embraced poverty. The joyousness of poverty and imitation of Christ is evident. She wrote for her community and in her 4 letters to Agnes of Prague.
Of Prague?
Mm-hmm.
Did they I'm seeing a golden statue with wings on it, and it's made out of gold. I don't know what that is. It's the golden statue outside of Buckingham Palace. Why do I see that? Or maybe it's in Paris. Oh no, it's the one in Paris. I don't know. What is this golden statue?
What's the golden statue of?
At first I saw like two like cherubs looking at each other, but then I zoomed out and I thought it looked like almost like an angel, but then I'm looking at it and it's just this tall, really stocky being that's standing there, and it's made out of gold, but I can't figure out what it is.
It's Dionysus, it feels like.
Could very well be something that, to look at.
We're going to ask to have that energy removed out of that statue, if that statue exists anywhere in all time, space, reality.
Oh, it looked like the David statue, but in gold. Like the big David, the famous David statue. Like that same pose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is it Michelangelo or Da Vinci who did that? Michelangelo, I think.
Yeah.
David statue. Oh, the David statue, like my neighbor.
Your neighbor. Yep.
Is my neighbor Dionysus? Please, God, no. What are these stupid flowers? These stupid flowers are like I don't know what these they look like they're vows or something to come into my house. I break all ties, vows, oaths, photos, contracts, agreements, and connections between myself, Dionysus, those flowers, and David, in all time, space, reality, past, present, and future, alternate space, and between space, all dimensions, and any and all context of reality. I don't consent. I don't agree to any program, agenda, overlay, or connection between myself and any soul aspect of myself. David, Dionysus, or those flowers, unplug, delete, and uninstall. Those flowers were doing something. I think those flowers had some kind of something in them.
How are we doing?
I'm okay, but I'm looking at Djokovic.
Oh, yeah, those visitors that came in your dream. Who is that?
He's a satyr.
Are they all satyrs?
No, only this guy, Djokovic. He has sharp teeth, he has horns. Around the table, it's something else. This is a satyr, this is a demon. There's something weird about this. I'm going in deeper. I can't feel my hands anymore. I can't feel my body.
Why not? Where are you going?
I don't know.
Why would you go follow that? Pull out.
It's a rainbow. Asking to pull myself out of this right now. I don't belong in this dimension.
Right now.
Break all ties, vows, oaths, photos, contracts, and agreements with these satyrs right now. In all time, space, reality, past, present, and future, alternate space, and between space. Parallels, pocket realities, hidden realities, in all dimensions. I don't consent and I don't agree to this. I am not staying here. I'm pulling myself out from this right now.
I'm going to ask to present them all before the high courts and have them removed from our reality right now.
There's a rainbow. it was a rainbow reality. It was a rainbow that was around the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that was weird.
Like,
Spirit. It was encircling us and it was vibrating.
Okay, we're going to ask to present this whole reality and have it disassembled and removed, and I present this for judgment before the high courts, before Rodan, before Shiva, right now.
It's collapsing, but that overlay is how they get me in there. That cabin by the ocean. The red, the yellow, and the blue. It's the overlay. Okay, I asked that be destroyed. Whatever that thing is.
What is it?
If it's an overlay. It's familiar to me.
It's a red, yellow, and blue.
It's the colors are bright, and the image that I'm seeing, the blue from the ocean, is so blue, like dark blue. And then I have a yellow parka on with a yellow hat and red galosh boots. I told him about it, and he said that's the Romanian flag. And then it made me think of Guccifer. Guccifer is that, if you look it up, Guccifer, Guccifer 2.0, Lucifer, Jenifer. No, Guccifer. Like Gucci and fur.
Yep. He's a Romanian hacker. Marcel Lazar Lahel as Guccifer, responsible for high-level computer security breaches in the U.S. and Romania, targeted celebrities in Romanian and U.S. government officials. Spouse is Gabriela Violeta Lazar. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it was connected to the red, yellow, and blue. I thought it was connected to that because it was in my dream. But I'm feeling right now, again, every time I look at this, I'm so heavy. I'm seeing Ron Howard now. Why am I seeing Ron Howard? Guy from Happy Days.
Want to break ties with Romania?
Break all ties, vows, oaths, photos, contracts, and agreements between myself and any soul aspect of myself in Romania, in Guccifer, in all time, space, reality, past, present, future, alternate space, in between space, parallels, pocket realities, and realities, dimensions, in all contexts of reality right now. I don't consent, I don't agree with any kind of program, overlay, or agenda between myself, Romania, and Guccifer. Unplug, delete, and uninstall. So be it.
In this reality with the rainbows.
And with this reality and the rainbows.
And any type of vampire energy that's coming from that region.
And any vampire energy that's coming from that region. Johnny Depp's coming after me with a knife.
Don't have consent to be in my space.
You don't have consent to be in my space. Go now. They'll always come back to the golden beetle.
Who will?
What's the golden beetle?
Reveal what the golden beetle is right now.
See Nancy Pelosi. She's got a golden beetle.
Let's pull out Nancy Pelosi. She doesn't belong in our timeline.
Has to pull out Nancy Pelosi from our timeline.
Did you find out what the beetle is yet?
It's green now. I don't know what the beetle is.
We're going to reveal what the beetle is right now.
Shaw House.
Okay, we're going to shut it down and make that beetle no longer effective. And it cannot trigger anyone, it cannot work, and cannot bring anyone in. We're shutting down its function right now.
It's got squashed. It's being taken somewhere. It looks longer now. It just got longer. It looks like a cockroach now. I think it's a species. Some sort of a species.
No, that doesn't feel right. We're going to present them before the high courts and have them removed from all time space reality.
Like locusts.
They're looking like locusts?
Yeah, now they're transparent locusts. Green eyes.
Okay. We're going to ask that the earth is freed of the locusts. And is there any...
Oh, wait. I asked that anything that the locusts took from this earth, they give it back. They're holding on to a clear sack. There's a clear sack of all these colors, like jewels. It doesn't belong to them. I asked that it be returned back to the planet immediately. Sacks are emptying out. It's like confetti is being dropped back down to the earth. They're taking stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nutrients and other things really needed on this planet, they were taking them. It's all being brought back to the planet like sand, multicolored sand. They're scavenging for it. It's not yours to take. Oh, somebody is really pissed off.
Ooh.
I don't know, it's some huge being. It's like the mother of this species. It's green, it's tall, it's really thin. It just flapped its it's mad. I don't know what this is.
We're going to present that entity up to the high courts. Shouldn't have been here in the first place. Whatever it is, I ask that it's revealed right now.
It's got a multicolored body.
She just said, damn you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, damn you. Come here and just take what you want without accountability.
They were bringing all those colors for whatever's in her body. She's using it as to like color her body. She's a huge like insect thing. When we need it on this planet, it's ours, it's not yours. It's like a mosaic, like a shiny mosaic on her body. And all her helpers were bringing it up to her in sacks. Poor plants. Like the queen of these locusts.
Okay. They all gone now?
Yeah, they got taken.
Okay, good. Is there anything that you need to see, or do you think that this might be the end of our time for right now?
I think it's the end, but somebody just handed me a white flower.
Who was it is it David from upstairs?
No.
Who is it?
It's a white and light green flower. I don't know.
Let's reveal who gave that to you.
There's a white being.
Doesn't feel right. Is that Dionysus?
Yes.
Okay. Break ties with Dionysus again.
Break all ties, vows, oaths, quotas, contracts, agreements, and entanglements between myself, any soul aspect of myself, and Dionysus. In all time, space, reality, past, present, and future, alternate space, in between space, parallels, pocket realities, and realities in all dimensions. In any context of reality, unplug, delete, and uninstall any and all programs, overlays, and agendas. Oh, he just turned into that stinky fruit. Go away.
Stinky fruit?
There's a really, really stinky fruit they have in Asia. If you look up stinky fruit, you'll see it. It's a green fruit. It's the most disgusting thing you'll ever smell in your life. But when you put it in your mouth, it changes. It's very weird.
Maybe they're showing that, some things are somewhat bitter or aren't pleasant, but are not that bad after all.
Maybe they're not that scary.
Yeah. Okay, so are we ready to come back up now?
Yes. Oh my God.
Yep.
That's kind of deep, Jess.
Yep.
God, that was deep.
Well, answer some questions, huh?
That space I went into with that rainbow, I almost think that that's something like that. It almost felt like something like MK Ultra. Like I don't know. It felt like a different dimension.
Yeah, it definitely was. But those were satyrs.
I don't know where we were when I turned around and I saw Djokovic all of a sudden, and he got really dark. He had sharp teeth, and then the two horns on top of his head, and I'm like, that's a satyr.
Yep.
And he wasn't doing anything mean to me or anything. Excuse me, I didn't give him a chance to. But there was like this energy around him that was very like intoxicating.
Mm-hmm.
God, I need to drink something.
Yep.
I literally at the end did not know if you were going to be able to pull me out.
Why?
I just felt like I was falling. When I was in that space and then I saw that yellow, blue, and red, I saw the image, but those were the colors that kept on standing out. It felt like I was falling. Like I was not going to be able to come out.
Because you were aligned with vampires and satyrs somehow in their falling. And as you were kind of presenting them, they were falling faster. It was trying to get you to disconnect from them. Because there was nothing safeguarding them. But if you're still connected, then it takes you down with them.
I mean, I'm okay now. I just feel heavy. Like it feels like when you go up in the airplane and you've got a shift in atmosphere.
Yep.
That's just what it feels like now. I'm coming out of it now, but
if there's any way, I would just reconfirm in any way that you disconnect. You might have made some kind of agreements with those satyrs. You might have made some agreements with those vampires. That's why the flag was triggering you from Romania.
Transylvania, all that. You're right.
Yep. And then you have all these bats showing up at your space. It's not an accident. But you had to have done some kind of agreement, even if it's in the dream space.
I get it. I mean, it's not normal, but I get it. And something's stabbing my foot. If I made any agreements with the satyrs or the vampires in any time, space, reality, I asked to shut that down right now. I asked for forgiveness if I did anything to hurt this planet or any of the universe or any inhabitants anywhere in the universe. And I shut down, delete, and uninstall and sever any and all connections or vows or any kind of agreements that I made with the vampires, the satyrs, and any of those beings in my regression. And so be it, in gratitude and knowledge, and I'm always loved and heard. The lighter.
Yep. Maybe the bats will stop. And that particularly means Romania, anything related to Djokovic, anything like that. Jokers.
Yeah. Jokers, there you go. Exactly. His first name is Joker Noel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Joker Noel.
Mm-hmm. I know.
I can't believe. Well, you know what? We're going deeper and we're finding more. And for that, I'm very happy. And I'm ecstatic that we found that thing with you, with the old guy, the Jew. I don't know where that was going.
He was, when I met him, I was in my 30s and he was in his 30s. He wasn't old at all. But he's a traveler, so he sounded like he was changing and maybe re-aging or something.
Kept on shifting, that's for sure, but his baseline was the Ashkenazi, which was odd. And I thought to myself, because remember I was close to those Jewish people in Geneva, and I had that sacrifice thing, where I sacrificed, so maybe there was a connection there. I don't know. It feels like it's all intertwined. Very cool thing was that when we took back all the stuff that was taken from you, there were those syringes that just emptied out, which was good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, there was some really, really good stuff that happened. Really, really big, important stuff.
I'm glad, and I hope, it can help anybody else. It's wonderful. So
yeah, I didn't like to hear about the rubble and everything around the bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge. And that guy had perplexed me for years. I was like, he showed up and then he disappeared as fast as he showed up. He was there with a bunch of Jewish guys, all about the same age. Probably about 10 of them.
That's what he would just go from one thing to the next, but his dress would change from one Jewish garb to another, to another, to another. And I'm like, I get it that you're Jewish,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that creature that was in her was really bizarre. But it's something like, I think I watched this, I don't know if it was the Wild Wild West, that movie, and there was a woman that was in there, and she carried a gun. She looked like she worked in a brothel. She had a really fancy dress. It's that same woman that usually is with Johnny Depp, which is, you brought up Johnny Depp. And she has a prosthetic leg. Did you ever see that? I think her leg, she can even shoot someone with her leg.
I mean, when you're talking about it, reminds me of Maeve from Westworld, because she ends up, taking up a gun and shooting people. Yeah, no, I mean, it sounds familiar.
So we have this interesting regression, and we cover many different topics. What I thought was very interesting is Jenifer actually tuned into someone that I had met in my 30s, and I remember very clearly meeting this person. I had seen him driving by in a vehicle that was used for when people want to move, like a moving truck. There was a bunch of men on there. And when he actually approached me, I was in a local cafe, and he walked up to me and started talking, and he distinctly had what I interpreted as a French accent, but he claimed he was Jewish. And so from the very beginning, the radar went off, and I was trying to figure out what was going on here. of course, there was, an attraction and that whole thing that happens when you're in your 30s. You tend to overlook a lot of different things. And so we ended up hanging around for a little while, but our interaction and conversation was not typical. And when he deliberately introduced me to his friends, I could see that they had all traveled together, and they all seemed to be about the same age. And they were nice, but none of them really spoke to me. He was the only one that spoke to me. And then he talked to me about playing that Mahjong game, which I'd never heard of before. Might have heard it in passing, but I had no idea what it was. And not really big on playing games. Even as a child, I never even liked playing cards or anything like that. I don't know if it's the competitive nature or the having to win type of thing, or it just never really intrigued me. So I kind of listened politely, and they went over it, and he was very kind of open and kind. And then out of nowhere, he just shut down and then put on his black glasses, almost even walked past me as if he didn't know me. It was as if he was either completely mind wiped and literally did not recognize me, or something else was going on. And so to me, that was kind of my first experience with someone that seemed to have, it was almost like a spy scenario, or one of those things where a person just completely goes into an alter, and it even makes you wonder, you have like that brief moment, like, did I even know that person? Is that the same person? Especially with the dark sunglasses on. It was extremely odd. And it bothered me for a couple of years because I thought, well, what happened there? And then someone explained to me that there were, these are guys that were in some kind of military operations, and that whatever they go through is very traumatic. And so it's hard for them. They have to shut down and then go from one place to the next. And so that was someone that I met while I was taking a course, another man from Israel. And he was a reporter, and his job was very dangerous, but we were kind of doing a workshop for film and photography and so forth. And so he explained that to me, and then I understood a little better. I had, some closure on it, so I left it. And I said, well, all right, so this is not the normal behavior, but if people have gone through trauma, I understand that. And, I'm a people person. So for me, when you have someone that sort of acts cold for no reason, it kind of wonder what's going on. But I mean, you let it go. Now the story comes up again, once again. She's bringing up this story years later, and it's very strange, and it starts to even make more sense, that he was a traveler and more things were going on than I had anticipated. The other things that came up were also very interesting. And as I said, these regressions are very revealing. There's no question in my mind that Jenifer and Hakita are very psychic, and when in a subtle altered state, or kind of a kind of in that point of being regressed, that they seem to be able to tune into quite a bit, or have been very exposed to many of the programs. And with these programs, information is revealed. And so you could see, as even, as you get older, there's still interactions, there are still communications, there's still entities trying to jump into the dream space and to get you to conform to whatever program you were supposed to align to. And so she's trying to pull out of it. It's not easy work, as you can see. It can be troubling. She actually went pretty deep, and probably that moment where she was going under, she sounded like she was slightly frightened that she wasn't going to be able to come out of it. And I've been in a situation like that before, so I know what she went through, where I was being pulled, and you can literally see yourself astrally being pulled down. So anyhow, it's something to think about. And this is the reason why we do it, is to help people. It's not just to showcase, discussions. It's not to point fingers at people and trying to call them out. It's literally what's in someone's field. And it's quite amazing, some of the things that do come up, and the personas and IDs and expressions that they come into, what type of body, the celebrity persona that they come out as. It's all very interesting, but this is a very long regression. I could probably go on and on about some of the different ideas that I have gained through going through these regressions and experiences with others, as well as, there's multiple regressions that I did for over a course of a couple of years prior to doing some of my public work. So I really believe in it. I know it works. And also, those of you that are practicing and doing regressions with others, make sure that that person has a good moral integrity, in that they regard your soul as being precious, invaluable, and that they could harm you. And it's nothing to just play with lightly. So thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you for your support. Have a good day.
You have been listening to Androna Talks Radio. Join us on YouTube channel Jessica Errol Morocco, and visit her website at www.readingsbyariel.com.
Thank you for watching our video, and thank you for listening to many of our videos and the radio station Androna Talks Radio, and being a supporter in many ways. I appreciate your contributions, your comments, and some of the many things that have really helped make this channel possible for us to be able to share this information that we know will be helpful to people. We are at a certain dilemma right now. It's sort of a pivotal issue regarding the computer system that has been used to create many of our videos and to maintain the radio station. So we were looking at potentially upgrading a 6-year-old system to be able to accommodate the multiple tasks that we're requiring, whether it's graphics, video, and a lot of the technical things that go into creating these programs. And Rolf has been absolutely amazing, and he has spent much of his time to do the best that he can. But recently he was expressing the issue of having some technical issues with his computer, and we're looking at kind of a larger cost than we're able to accommodate at this time. So if there's anyone that has the ability to support or send money towards assisting us in getting a new computer system for Rolf, so we can continue to go to that next level that we're being required to do to continue to get the information out. We have some really amazing things coming up, and all of it unfortunately costs money. So if there's any of you that, and I know I don't want anyone to struggle or give when they're barely able to, but usually those are the people that are most generous. And I typically don't ask. I try to do the best that I can to work with people and make my own way. But unfortunately, this is a little bit more than I can manage. So if anyone finds it in their heart that they would like to support what we're doing, I would very much appreciate it. So thanks again, and have a good day.